Hello, welcome back to the channel. And man, I have some exciting news. For a long time, I was trying to sell the supercharger on the car. Gen 5, Whipple, some extra goodies on it, stuff like that. And just couldn't get a good offer. Kept trying. Lots of people would offer on 3 turbo kits. They'd offer $5,000, etc., etc. And I just never wanted to settle for less of a deal of what I paid for the kit back in the day. Gen 5 Whipple, brand new on the Whipple website, is like 9 grand, something like that, plus all the extra stuff I had into it. I was like, man, I just don't want to take half the money for this. I really want to get something good. So waited, I think it was like 3-4 months, something like that. And finally got an offer that I was like, I'm excited for this. So I'll go into that in a little bit, but we're going turbo, and let me dive into all the details here. Okay, so as you'll see on the table behind me here, got a turbo kit. First off, why did I want to go turbo? The supercharger was awesome. I really enjoyed the Whipple. It made great power, it made good sounds. It was a lot of fun. But if you did a second gear hit and the car's making 700-ish, it was really hard to put it down to the ground sometimes. Third gear, fourth gear, all that kind of stuff, blast, easy, no problem. I mean, as long as it's not raining and stuff and the tires were warm. But I really wanted a little more variability, be able to control the car more, be able to turn up and down the power, stuff like that. And so for that reason, I wanted to go turbo, have a boost controller, be able to change the settings on the fly, etc. Also, man, turbo sounds so good. My buddy Johnny has a Mark IV Supra, single turbo. He's got a 2-step on it, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. And you sit in the passenger seat and the turbo's in front of you in the engine bay there, and you can just hear it spooling up and down. You can hear the blow-off valve doing all the crazy stuff. Like, it's just a lot of fun. So, I've always wanted to go turbo. I knew I probably would one day, but I didn't think it'd be this soon. Things happen, situations where pistons get holes in them and blow up and stuff. And so now we're here, and it's finally turbo time. So let me go over the kit and what I got. Okay, so as you'll see, there's a big boy turbo, single turbo there. This is a BL Fab single turbo kit for S97 11 to 14 Mustang. And let me just talk through a couple things here. And this is also new to me, turbo stuff. I got pretty familiar with supercharger, but this is a whole new world to me. So this is a Borg Warner S400 series 88 millimeter turbo. It is a twin scroll. It is a journal bearing, and it is a 1.32 AR on the backside. It's a T6 housing for where it mounts up to the exhaust, and then it's a V-band for the cold side here. It also has a turbo speed sensor thing down there, and then you can kind of see the venting and the space around the actual turbine there too. Kind of cool just to look at how all this stuff works. Here's the oil feed on the top. I got the fitting in there already, and then the drain down here. And then there's a big old V-band on the back that will go to the bumper exhaust, and yeah, turbine in the back and stuff there too. So it's cool. Didn't know before, but there's just a massive clamp like this with a T-bolt on it that goes around the flange here on both sides, so on the cold side and on the hot side. And as it holds it on, then you can take it apart if you want to. So I'm going to show that taken apart here just a moment. Okay, so here's the cold side taken off. Here you can see the wheel doing its thing. Man, she is gorgeous. And then here's the cold side. I mean, now I see why people call it a snail now, because it kind of looks like a snail. But yeah, that's how it is. You can take off the hot side too. I just don't feel like doing it right now. But yeah, there's the turbo. It's supposed to be rated for 1350 horsepower. That's probably crank, but... Hey, chill. It's all good. Hey. Ralph wanted to say hi. But yeah, so that's turbo specs, and I'll go into the rest of the kit. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around the table here real quick. Cold side piping, the MAF sensor here. All this is already powder coated black. I'm guessing powder coat, not Cerakote, but there's that. Turbo Smart on the wastegates and the blow off valve. I'm not super knowledgeable about turbos or any of this kind of stuff, but Turbo Smart seems to be like one of the better brands, and is very high quality looking. So I'm excited to put those through the paces. Over here, 6-inch Treadstone intercooler, so air to air. I'm excited for that because with the supercharger, it was air to water, ran coolant through it. There's more weight from that. I'm expecting the turbo kit is going to be about like 50-60 pounds lighter than the supercharger kit was. I'm not sure, but just based off of some of the weights of stuff that I've been doing, it looks like it'll be a little bit lighter. And then not running coolant in this will be nice as well. It is still a heavy boy. That is a thick boy, and it's going to take up a lot of space in the front of the car, but it's also rated for a lot of horsepower, and it should do some good work. These tabs might not work for me because I have the tubular front end on the car, so I might end up doing something like, you know, welding a tab up here and then just tacking on to the front end, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, so then, yeah, lines for the turbo oil feed. I think this is something they included here from Summit, just coolant pipe, all the silicone hoses, more of the bands, for the turbo drain, oil drain, some really nice lines, some Fergola fittings, good old AN stuff. Gotta love a good AN line. And I have to get all that mocked up. Extenders for the sensors. There is an exhaust trim ring. That's pretty cool. These are radiator drop brackets for a regular stock car. I probably will not be able to use those, but have them just in case. And then this is extra I got with the kit. It's Motion Raceworks CO2 bottle with all the lines for that, and then a nice bracket here to mount it onto the roll bar. Boost leash for boost control. Never worked one of these before, but definitely some good instructions with that. The guy that makes these seems like he's pretty good at explaining everything. And yeah, I'll have fun wiring that up whenever that comes time. And I think that's everything for the stuff in here. Then I'll have to go out to the garage to show the rest of it. Okay, a few more things here for the kit, and then we'll dive into next steps and putting it on and all that kind of stuff. This is the big old bumper exhaust. It's got the flange here for on the hot side of the turbo, and it is a big boy exhaust tip. I believe it is a 5-inch, and hopefully that will work. I have a little bit different setup here because of the tubular front end, but hopefully I can get it to come out right through there somewhere, and have all the turbo noises coming out. Okay, so don't mind my motor all taken apart in pieces, but there's a new short block hanging out, and here is the old short block with the heads, timing cover, all that kind of stuff, and the exhaust manifolds, the turbo manifolds on here. These are a nice piece. I definitely like these. The flanges here look really great, but I tried mocking up the crossover between the two, and the right side here fit properly and the left side did not, even with the flex piece in the middle here. So that will be going off to fab here just to get redone. I was able to get it fit once, but I really had to torque on it, and I don't want to bust a weld or have issues with it, so I'm going to get it redone. And then also, it does not come with a turbo support. I've seen people do something just off of here. The 15 to 17 kit for BL Fab has a little bracket that goes here and then sandwiches in between the flange and the hot side of the turbo. So I'm gonna get something made that will support the turbo just to be safe. But yeah, that's why the old engine's all mocked up here, and I'll be going off to get worked up. Okay, last piece of the kit, I can't forget to show this. This is the crossover for the hot side. It's got the little flex piping in here. I have the wastegates already on there. vented to atmosphere. Pretty stoked about that. Should be cool to see some flames shoot out of there. And the T6 flange, the turbo to sit on. And then you can see, yeah, the rest of it up there. So anyways, that's the last piece of the turbo kit that I wanted to show that off to. Okay, so that's a review of the kit, what I got, and just an overview, kind of going through stuff like that. So I'm really excited to go turbo. I've always wanted to have a turbo car. A V8 turbo is pretty awesome too. I mean, there's some really powerful V6s and flat fours and whatever else out there, but I'm excited to do a Turbo Coyote. I think this build's gonna be fun. Definitely have learned a lot from blowing stuff up and making mistakes in the past. I'm not trying to rush anything this time. Definitely want to do it the right way. Go back to a more street car vibe and just build a fun car to drive around town, and that also makes a decent amount of horsepower. So probably going to be a couple months in the build. I'm going to be putting together the rest of the engine. I finally got in the cylinder head dowels thanks to Coyote Direct. I can finally put the heads on the short block. I need to get new oil pump gears. Old ones had a little bit of wear and tear on them. And then after that, I want to get the turbo hot side Cerakoted, trying to pick a color for powder coat on the cold side. Yeah, stuff like that. I'm slowly figuring things out, just taking it one step at a time, definitely not rushing it this time around. Also, yeah, I'm new to turbos, so definitely asking a lot of questions. Had a lot of friends that are helping out, just explain how things work. I didn't even know the difference between like journal bearing and ball bearing turbos. Like, that's how much of a beginner here I am. But I'm excited for the whole process. I think it's going to build a really great car having this kit, and I'm excited to have what I would think of as a more top tier turbo kit. I know on-3s are better these days. I know they do work, they do make good power, but I have always thought of BL Fab as one of the nicer kits, even though there's still some issues that it might have. I'm excited to run it. So now let me talk about how I got this kit and what happened. Okay, so here's how the trade happened for supercharger and turbocharger. One, thank God for car people in the car community, because I would say car people are usually, generally most of the time, great people. There's definitely some scumbags out there, but there's also like a lot of people in the car community that just want to build a cool car and go fast and have fun. So I had posted the supercharger for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Barely ever had good experiences on there, but I tried. And then I also would post it on Instagram. So one of the stories I shared, I had a guy respond to it. He was like, hey, are you interested in trading the supercharger kit for a turbo kit? I have a BL Fab S97 kit. And I was like, I'm definitely interested. Please tell me more. So figured out details. Basically, the guy's all the way over in California. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and we're like, man, how in the world are we going to make this happen? So we initially talked about driving. We're going to meet halfway, which is like a 13-hour drive, but I was like, I'm down, like, let's do it. And then the guy was like, hey, like, my girlfriend is sick. I need to stay here with her. Can you drive all the way? And I was like, dude, that's a 24-hour drive one way, not even both ways. There's no way. Like, let's just look into shipping. So I boxed everything up. I got one massive container from Lowe's. I think it was like $60. Go to UPS. I'm like, hey, can we ship this? So pull it out, get it on the scale, weigh it, and the guy's like, oh, this is way over 150 pounds. Like, we can't ship this from here. You got to go freight. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go figure out how freight works. So start looking on freight websites, trying to get information on how does freight shipping work. And the first quote I got for freight shipping was literally $1,000. And that's from San Antonio to where this guy was in California with shipping insurance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy shit, there's no way I'm paying $1,000 to ship this kit. There's got to be a better way. So I got lucky, actually found a website that helps you plan like your freight shipping and helps with logistics. Basically, I figured out with this website, if you drop off your kit, your package, whatever, at the terminal, at the freight terminal, and then they ship it to another freight terminal, and then that dude picks it up over there, it is immensely cheaper than them sending an 18-wheeler with a lift gate on it to pick it up from your residential address. Like, so much cheaper. So thank God for this website. It planned everything out, and it was literally $300 with shipping insurance for the whole thing. Dropped it off, got it sent out, sent the guy pictures, tracking, etc., and boom, it got there. He did the same thing. He used the same website. It was the same price for him, $300. Boom, sent it. I got it, picked it up here for the terminal. Done. Now, the drive to the terminal was like a solid hour or so from my house, but in my opinion, saving $700 on shipping and you go pick up your stuff a little bit of a distance away, totally worth it. So I'm really thankful that this worked out. I was definitely nervous I get screwed over, like just sending off my supercharger, like I hope this guy ships his back. I think I sent mine, and then like a day later or 2 days later, he sent his, and I was like, oh, whew, so glad that it worked out. I was afraid I was just sending a supercharger for fun and getting nothing in return. So anyways, it got there safe to him. He said no damage to the supercharger kit. I got turbo. Everything was fine. Don't see anything wrong with it there. No shipping damage, and it worked out really well. So I'm super happy, super blessed that it actually all worked out well. And now I have a turbo kit, and I can build a car to be crazy. Okay, so wrapping up, final thoughts. Definitely plan to go back to more streetcar. Put AC back in. Still have the drag seat, because for me, it's a better seating position. I'm 6'4", I need space. I can't get a helmet on if there's not a drag seat in here. My head will hit the ceiling. So go back to more streetcar. Get everything nice and clean in the engine bay. I definitely want to run some AN lines. I definitely want to get rid of the degas bottle, move that back to where the battery was, do a battery relocation. Just get everything nice and clean in the engine bay, but not go overboard. It's so easy to think about like doing all this crazy stuff, powder coat everything, get rid of all the chrome, like go all black and blue or all black and blue and brown or whatever. Like, so many options, but I want it to be a street car. I want it to just be fun. I want it to make a good 700-800 horsepower or something like that. I mean, it's still a stock short block, not sleeved, no forged rods and pistons. So like 700-800 for now, and then later if I'll build the motor and sleeve it and do forged rods and pistons, then maybe 1,000 plus, something like that. But for now, I feel like this is a pretty solid build. It'll be fun. 700-800 horse on the street is no joke. It's still fun. I know there's a lot of cars out there these days that make 1,500, 2,000, something like that, but 700-800 is really fun on the street. And if you're just driving around and you're going to car meets and, you know, some fun stuff in Mexico every once in a while, that's a lot of fun. So stay tuned. I'm going to show how the whole build goes and the mistakes I make, because I obviously am no pro here and I'm just going one step at a time. But I'm really excited for this, and so I'm excited to share it and post videos and have all the content about how this goes. I feel like I haven't seen a whole lot on like a build like this, like to the specifics. Like you'll see a video of like a Turbo Coyote racing at TX2K, but you won't see like all the specifics of how they built it. And so there is some stuff on Frankenstein Coyotes being built from Brian or Pokemaster. He shows putting together a whole Frankenstein Coyote. But I want to show building the engine, building the turbo kit, putting everything all together, how the coolant system gets run, etc., etc. And I think that'll be really fun. So I'm excited to share that. If you want to subscribe and like the video, throw a comment in. If there's anything you want to see, then put it in the comments. And yeah, I'm excited to share all this, and I'm looking forward to lots more here in the future. Hope you all enjoyed the video today, and y'all have a good day.